866-234-6221. Now, let's join Brett, Randy, and Lou for the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, and why have we not added your name in that?
Yeah,
I mean, it's, in that intro, we gotta.
It's been a few years.
Years. Yeah, I'm surprised Austin's name is still in there somewhere. But we want to welcome everybody into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Here with you for 2 hours this Saturday morning and leading you into Christmas, because this is really our last show leading into Christmas live. Actually, we'll have one show next week, Auburn Blitz on Monday, but that'll be it, Scott. And then everybody will be getting ready. Everybody getting ready now. This is a busy weekend for everybody out there, because it's the last weekend before Christmas. So trying to get shopping done and wrapped up in the next few days. Some people haven't even started.
Yeah, I was late to the party, but we're pretty much complete. So
you done?
Yeah,
I'm
it helps now that if you've got somebody that can assist.
That's right.
And,
yeah, if you got
things.
somebody that'll prod you along, like you find that out. Now you're finding that out now. But we want to thank JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air for their long time partnership with us here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. We couldn't do it without them. They make it what it is, and but yeah, you know, that's one thing. And one, I remember shows past we've done the oddest sports gifts. We might go down that track today. What would you buy for the sports fan in your life and in your family? So we may go through some odd Christmas gifts. Anyway, I can't remember. Somebody tweeted out something the other day, like shopping for Christmas or Christmas Eve and hadn't started shopping yet or something like that, and they were making a comparison to I think Arkansas's recruiting class.
Oh, I saw.
I sent it to y'all, and it's like,
yeah.
you know, waking up and you hadn't even started shopping, and it's Christmas Eve, and I think Arkansas was like 120th in the country in recruiting. We'll talk a lot about recruiting. High school, the reclassification came out this week. That was a big deal, and it's a big deal every 2 years when this happens, because it really happens every 3 years, because you play 2 years, and in that third year you find out where you're going. And all the teams in our local area will run down their new regions, because I think that's pretty cool. And you know, they even had a reclassification show this year. So I'm impressed with what they're doing right here. We're in conjunction with WOTM, Charter Channel 80, and Vincent Early, and they're trying to take high school athletics and coverage of high school athletics, Scott, to the next level, which in my opinion, and for our opinions for a long time, we know that high school athletics is only second to Alabama and Auburn football in this state. So that's the next big, and probably if you look at it from a total perspective of people in the state of Alabama, this high school athletics touches more than Auburn and Alabama, because of all the different sports and all the different high schools.
Yeah, I mean, you may have somebody who doesn't necessarily follow Auburn, Alabama from a fan standpoint, or maybe they attended UAB or, you know, somewhere else. But from a high school athletic standpoint, it's really the one constant that continues to bridge communities together, because whether you're from that place or not, if you're living there, then you're a supporter of that community, which makes you a supporter of the athletic program.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, one of the other things that you see happening with that are all these facilities going up, not just for football, but basketball facilities, softball and baseball complexes, soccer complexes, all these communities around the state realizing how important athletics is to their community and what it brings in. So they're spending the money there because they get the return on investment. Yeah. It's not like they want to build this elaborate complex because they want to look better than the next community. They're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for their kids. They're doing it to enhance the quality of life in their community. And you know, that's why we've learned. We learned a lot this year with what Caleb Brooks is doing with us on the AHSA side, traveling all over the state and seeing these schools that we don't get a chance to see up close and personal. We see them in the championship events, and we go, man, they must have it going on in that community. Well, Caleb goes and he sends pictures back of the facilities, and the facilities are better than some colleges.
Yeah.
And so that tells you why these schools like Piedmont and you know, Saraland and all these schools continue to just get better and better. I'm just throwing two of them out there, but we've got Winfields, the Winfield Alabamas of the world, where a lot of people don't even know where Winfield is. Well, go to Winfield High School and look at the facilities there. It'll impress you.
Yeah, and from our perspective, as you said, we do get to see, or we're exposed to more than the average person just because of what our dealings with ASSA. But I think now with all of these new complexes being built, I think from somebody that lives in Alex City, if you're a resident here, I think that it starts to really put into perspective what type of facility we have, because what the Sportplex is, everybody else in the state is trying to replicate that.
They are.
And so I think that we're very fortunate in this area to have a multi-sport complex.
Yeah, we're way ahead of the game when it came to that. And then, with you being in your position with the city and knowing what we've got coming with a new high school here at Benjamin Russell, that's only going to bring eyeballs to our community once again. And I know we're statewide right now. We're broadcasting from Alexander City is why we're talking about that. But we're talking about the whole state and all of the complexes out there and all the facilities that have been built just over the last 5 years, Scott. And we're talking yesterday to somebody about Prattville's complex and how they kind of started all of this with that indoor facility down there when Bill Clark was there. And you look at it now and you kind of go, man, that's not what it is compared to what the new ones are. But they started all this, and at that time everybody was like, man, have you seen what Prattville built? So it just challenges everybody to get better, and that's the good thing. I know here in Tallapoosa County, different complexes and different things are in the works to be renovated or new things to be added on, new field houses, things like that at different schools. So it's an exciting time. And what else do you have really to invest in other than your kids? I mean, they're the foundation of your community. You want them to stay here. You want them to have the best so they can compete against the other programs in the state. So looking forward to that. We'll talk about the reclassification here in the next segment because I think that's an important deal. We'll talk about Dayville and Horseshoe Bend and Reeltown, and we'll talk about Clay County. We'll talk about the Talladega area. We'll talk about the Birmingham area. We'll hit the Mobile region and the Huntsville region. So we'll kind of go around the state. And if you got a comment, you can follow us on Facebook Live, and you can actually call this show. It's the last show we have out there where you can actually call us and talk to us. 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. But you can go to our Facebook page and you can follow us there, and you can comment throughout the entire show. So as we change topics, you can change with us, and you can continue to add input there. Recruiting was a big deal this week. The signing period for both Alabama and Auburn. Again, Alabama did well. Auburn did a lot better than they did this time last year. Both of these schools we should be proud of the type of talent that's being attracted and the level of football that's being played in this state. You look at Auburn basketball and what it's doing right now, and then you look at Alabama with Nate Oates trying to come up. It's very similar. Nate Oates and Alabama trying to do what Auburn's doing in basketball, and when Nick Saban got to Alabama, you saw Auburn trying to raise its game to get to their level.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. And excuse me, from while we're on the basketball side, sticking with Alabama, I think that they're playing a lot better. Their record isn't reflective.
No, they are playing a lot
they're
better.
playing a lot better. But I wasn't necessarily sure how well Nate Oates would do, but I think as with any coach, I mean, you have to give them time. But I think that the expediency of that has to happen a little bit quicker than I think that maybe Alabama fans were hoping for, mainly because of what's happening on the other side of the state. So it's the same thing as you said with the football. Although you're doing well, you still have to look and see what your opponent's doing, and if they're higher than you, then you have to figure out, your benchmark. Have to figure out how do you get to that level.
Well, if they can get John Petty to hit threes the way he's been hitting them the last couple of weeks, and I said this on Auburn Blitz this week, Alabama's a scary team, and they're going to get better as the year goes on. So people don't need to just go, well, I'm just going to chalk that up as a win when they come to town, because if you have, and that's the thing about basketball, if you have a bad night shooting and the other team has a really, really good night shooting, you can be in trouble. It can be an uphill battle, even though you have better talent. They can outshoot you and outplay you and outperform
happened with South Alabama and when Auburn played. I mean, it's very similar. I mean, they shot the lights out, and it forced Auburn to have to play
Auburn
a much
very
better
lucky
game.
to win that game. And a loss is coming for Auburn, but for right now, for them to be 10-0 and doing what they're doing, and in the top 10 in the country, according to the coaches poll, number 10, 12 by the AP. They win the rest of these here before they go into the conference schedule. I mean, that's 12 games. I mean, if you went out and you got Lipscomb and Lehigh left, so you would hope. Yeah. I think the ESPN predictor had us had Lehigh with a 2.4% chance of winning and Lipscomb with a 4-point-something% chance. So, but again, if you don't come out and play well on any given night, ask Kentucky. Evansville can roll into Rupp Arena and beat you. So it didn't necessarily mean anything about ranked teams in basketball. Somebody can come to your place on any given night and beat you. I just thought Auburn had a big quality win yesterday or day before yesterday with NC State. That was a big win for them. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on in the program. But we're just getting started here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. We're glad that you've joined us here on the program the weekend before Christmas. I know a lot of you out there out and about, but thank goodness for cyber ability to shop. It helps me and people like me.
It's definitely helped me for sure.
It definitely helps. Me and you've been in trouble. I'd been in trouble for a long time if it hadn't been for being able to go out and shop on your computer. So going to take our first break here. When we come back, we'll talk about the reclassification throughout the state of Alabama in high school football. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace. Smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn on South College. New Kias at 0% APR financing and no payments for 90 days. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn.com.
This is Coach Pat Dye. At Kia of Auburn, you are always number one.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here. Sunshine Heating and Air and JR Sports Bar and Grill are major corporate partners here on the program. Let's talk about the reclassification, Scott. This week came out. By now, most people that follow this already know where their high school is, but we got some schedules that are coming together now already for some schools. and we'll run down a few schedules out there, especially in the local area for people out there watching and listening, because again, with new regions, new opponents, sometimes first-time opponents, and you see a lot of different things. I want to start in 7A with the biggest classifications. Only 4 regions in 7A. There's not near as many schools in 7A as there are in 6A through 1A. So we'll start in Region 4 up in the Huntsville area. That's Albertville, Austin, Bob Jones, Florence, Grissom, Huntsville, James Clemens, and Sparkman. I'm not going to run down every single school in this reclassification, but really not a lot changed in 7A. You had one school that we know of that jumped up, and that was Daphne, and you had a couple schools drop down. You had Mountain Brook fall out. You also had Robert E. Lee fall out. So you've had some different changes in the south part. As far as I know, up here in the northern part, Region 3, Gadsden City, Hewitt-Trussville, Hoover, Oak Mountain, Spain Park, Thompson, Tuscaloosa County, and Vestavia Hills. So Tuscaloosa County growing again, getting more students there. The regions are kind of spread out in 7A. You got the Auburn, the East Alabama, and the Montgomery region. We've got Smith Station, Prattville, Jeff Davis Enterprise, Dothan, Central Phoenix City, and Auburn. And then, of course, the last region. This is the only classification we'll read every school. That's Alma Bryant, Baker, Daphne, Davidson, Fairhope, Foley, Mary G. Montgomery, Murphy, and Theodore. And I think Daphne's excited about moving up, actually. If you look at their region, from what I'm going to read off here in just a minute, what they just left, they're happy to be in the 7A region.
Were they in the Gulf? Was that the Gulf Shores? And
yeah, they were in that region.
Okay.
I mean, if you think just because you're 7A, it's not necessarily better. I mean, they're bigger schools, but doesn't necessarily mean there's better football there. That 6A region down in that area, to me, is leaps and bounds tougher than that 7A region. There's some good teams in that 7A region, Scott. But if you're Daphne, and everybody was like, why is Daphne tweeting out, man, we're moving up, we're excited. I mean, because look at what they left. I mean, it wasn't even comparable. If you look at their region of where they would have been, which would have been Region 1 in 6A, Baldwin County, Gulf Shores, Blunt, McGill, Tulane moved down from 7A to 6A. Robertsdale, Saraland, and Spanish Fort.
Yeah, that's
so Daphne said, we'll take the jump up. We'll be glad. Not to say that they didn't want to embrace competition, but I mean you could finish 6-4, 7-3, miss the playoffs in that region. Well, I'm going to read one region that you could literally have a phenomenal season and not come close to the playoffs. Region 6 up in the Birmingham area. Every single team in that region could win the region. Clay Chalkville, Gardendale, Jasper, who was the #1 team in 5A for most of the year this year, moves up to 6A. Minor, Mortimer Jordan, who is a powerhouse in 5A that moved up to 6A. Jackson Olin, all they put out is top-ranked players, Quanius Miller, T.D. Moultrie, the kid that just signed with Alabama this year that we'll talk about at linebacker. And then Pinson Valley, who has won 2 out of the last 3 6A state titles. That's Region 6. How about drawing out that region?
Yeah, that's a tough one there. But, I mean, there's really nothing you can do because they're all
nothing.
saturated together right there, and their populations are pretty much the same. But that's going to be highly competitive.
Well, if you didn't like that region and you said, well, what's another one up in that area I could go to? Well, you can go to this one. Briarwood, Chelsea, Homewood, Huffman, Mountain Brook, Shades Valley, and Woodlawn. Good luck on that one, too. There's some tough football up in the Birmingham area in 7A and 6A and in 5A. Some really, really good football on the higher end on the top classifications there. For those of you watching, maybe not know about the reclassification here in the local area, Benjamin Russell is in Region 3, and they've got some different teams in there. Some teams, I think that you won't be seeing. It's a traditional regional opponent for Ben Russell because of the different region alignments. It'll be Benjamin Russell, Calera, Chilton County, Helena, Pelham, Stanhope, Elmore, and Wetumpka. That region's kind of spread out. If you look at going all the way from Stanhope, Elmore up to Calera, Alabama, there's a difference there. I mean, you can get on the interstate and get up and down pretty accessible there, but some different opponents. I don't know that there's an opponent in there that Ben Russell hasn't played. Benjamin Russell has played every one of those teams at some point in time, but that leaves the non-region schedule. For those of you out there, Ben Russell picked up Sylacauga. That one used to be a long-time rival. I think a lot of people will be excited.
So we
to
played.
see
So
that.
I never even remembered playing Sylacauga.
Oh, yeah.
Or that Benjamin Russell played Sylacauga.
You're still young, Scott. You're still relatively young.
No, but that's.
But yeah, I mean that used to be a big-time rival game, and I know a lot of people on both sides glad to see that game come back. Ben Russell also pick up Smith Station in the middle part of the season. That's a 7A team that we just read off, so that'll be a good challenge for the Wildcats. And then to start the season off, they open up on the road at Huffman. So that's the team that I just talked about in that region there in Region 5. There's a lot of great teams in that region, Huffman being one of them, and the Wildcats will travel there, and then they'll go to Central Clay in week 2. So keeping that rival going, which is a really good really good back and forth between those two schools, and it's a fun game. It's usually really close. Both teams get after one another, and it's a fun. Everybody knows everybody on both sides, so the communities are relatively close. So you got to have some good, healthy rivals in high school football, in my opinion, Scott.
Yeah, and not necessarily. I mean, sometimes classification gets trumped when you start to look at communities. And you look at maybe from a basketball standpoint, Benjamin Russell and Coosa, they're from a size standpoint, they're so much larger, but
that's right.
What they do for the communities, they are big rivals.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for, you look at Coosa, and they just show you right there that you can be the smaller school and probably be historically better as a program, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, but 6A with some really tough regions.
Valley got pretty.
Valley didn't. Not only did they go up in classification, they went from 5A. They thought they were going to stay 5A, and when they got news they didn't go to 5A, they had to go to 6A. Then they got the telegram of the region they got put in, and this one's rough, man. I'm telling you that from top to bottom. In Region 2, Carver High School, Eufaula just had a great season this year, and I'm expecting them to just keep that train rolling. Robert E. Lee, who has been a powerhouse in 6A the last couple of years, Sidney Lanier, Opelika joins that region, Park Crossing, who, man, all they were doing was running through people in the playoffs, and then you got Russell County and Valley. They got in Russell County and Valley over there in extreme eastern Alabama going, how did we get put into this gauntlet? So, but based on geography and how things lay out and the number of teams that have to be in a region, you got to go. So.
I love Buster,
but
I'm glad it's Valley and not Benjamin Russell. Sorry, that's my last homer comment, but I'm glad that was not Benjamin Russell.
I think you're not the only one saying that in this area for sure. Up against our next break, stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Be the hostess with the mostest this holiday season at Chicken Salad Chick with our easy party catering. Need a quick appetizer? Stop by Chicken Salad Chick and grab a quick chick of any chicken salad flavor or the pimento cheese ball covered with crushed pecans and crispy bacon. Remember, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. For a limited time, our pumpkin cheesecake is back and it's delicious. Chicken Salad Chick can feed any holiday crowd with our custom fit catering. 12 flavors of chicken salad, there's sure to be something for every taste bud.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here, halfway through the first hour. Get your comments in. We'd love to hear from you. Call us if you'd like to, 256-234-6221 if you want to have a comment. We're talking about the reclassification here in the state of Alabama, and we kind of ran through a couple regions in 6A. Went through 7A. Let's go down to 5A and talk about a few of these regions. One in this area here that we'll talk about in Region 4, Central Clay. Central High School, Clay County, 2-time state champions under Danny Horn. Their region lines up with Beauregard, Elmore County, Hopeville, Sylacauga, Talladega, and now Tallahassee in that region. So some different teams in there for Central Clay. I know they're probably happy to see Jasper and Mortimer Jordan, who are considerably larger than them, move on out of that classification. Jasper wasn't in their region, but Mortimer Jordan was, and Mortimer Jordan had gotten the best of them the last 2 years in the regular season. Jasper beat them in the regular season, but then lost, and Central Clay got them in the playoffs. That's one thing I've noticed about Central Clay the last couple of years. They've dropped 2 or 3 games in the regular season, but by the time the end of the season's rolling around, the playoffs come around, they're playing their best football, and that's what you want. You play tough teams during the regular season. It's a test. You want to win all of them, but a lot of times you learn more from a loss during the regular season than you do a blowout win from a lesser opponent.
Yeah, and that's been a staple of Danny Horn's legacy. Not that he's lost a lot of games in his career, but those when he did lose, there was always the opportunity for redemption. And as you said, they get Mortimer Jordan out of that region, and so you get somebody like Tallahassee and Talladega. So those will still be teams that will be competitive, but I still think that their draw is pretty similar to what they had last year. They'll have to, beat these teams, but I think they're in a better spot than they were region-wise last year.
You had some teams that dropped down. Again, here's a region. Benjamin Russell played several of these teams over the last couple of years, and this would have been a region if we were moving down. You looked at that Selma, Shelby County, Sipsey Valley, Marbury, Jemison, Demopolis, and Central High of Tuscaloosa. Ben Russell played Demopolis and Selma. Selma was in Ben Russell's region last year, last couple of years, so they dropped down to 5A. But that program considerably better. Scott, if you look at Selma, made the playoffs this year in 6A. They had a lot of good talent over there. That was a big win for them when we went over there, and they shut us out and just kind of told you where that program had gone on the new coaching staff that came over from Linden High School. It turned the program around, man. If you want to look at the ingredient for turning a program around, it always starts with the coach. You know, it's players. Players make the plays on the field, but every successful program from NFL all the way down to Pee Wee football, it starts with a coach. And if you look at coaches that just know how to win, Danny Horn being one of them, wherever he goes, he wins. You just take him, and if you put Danny Horn somewhere else, he go win. You know, and that's and he instills a culture in the program. So these guys that came over from Linden who had just won, 10, 11, 12 games a year, take the job over at Selma, and look at what they do. Get over there in their first year and get that team to the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs in a long time. It's all about what you instill from top down.
Now, I think, I think it takes a certain type of confidence level, too, and trusting yourself to say, all right, I'm going to leave this program and come to this program. But I think that it goes back saying trusting that you have the ability to get the process
started. They want to challenge themselves, too. If they're doing something and they're doing it some decide they want to be a lifer in a program. Others want to try to challenge themselves and go somewhere else and see if they can do the same thing they've done there at another school that they haven't done it in a long time, and that's what they did there at Selma. We'll go down to 4A football now. A few different teams we'll run through. If you look at this area of the state, had tremendous football this past year in Region 4. Anniston, Cherokee County, Cleburne County, Handley, Jacksonville, Munford, and White Plains. Jacksonville made the championship this past year. Anniston was in the semifinals. Cherokee County and Munford and Handley always have really good football. Handley's got the #1 player in the state of Alabama that'll be coming back as a senior this year. We'll be following him and talking about him as far as recruiting in the 2020 class, or actually the 2021 class, rather. The top player nationally, too. I think he's Dylan Brooks, number 18 outside or defensive end, strong side defensive end in the whole country. So that'll be one that a lot of schools will be vying for there. But if you look down through there, as far as 4A football is concerned, you don't see one big team anymore that we didn't talk about that moved up. It's UMS Wright. UMS Wright no longer in 4A because of the competitive balance. They move up to 5A. And so they'll be challenged now. They'll be in a situation, if you look in Region 1, you see a team that has been really good in 5A for the last several years, moved down to 4A now, and that's Viger. So Viger and Williamson, Mobile Christian, who is a team that had to move up as well because of competitive balance from 3A to 4A.
Did they win?
They were runner-up. They got beat in the championship game by that Piedmont team that was so good this past year. So, but you got teams moving up and down classification. It's shocking to see some of these schools how rapidly they're moving up in class, and some of these that are dropping. And you're seeing them all the way down to some 3 classifications from where they were just 20 years ago. You see, either an influx of people into a community or people leaving a community, so it's causing the schools to fluctuate. So
yeah, a lot of these, especially in the Birmingham and the Mobile, Baldwin County area, you can say Huntsville too, any of your big 4 cities.
Oh yeah.
Those peripheral communities or those outside communities are starting to get some of those, more the inner city kids are starting to move out and get there, so your population's exploding. So some of those, your Spanish forts, and those will continue to rise. Why, like you see somebody like Viger have to drop a classification.
Absolutely. Slide down to 3A. We'll close out this segment with the reclassification. In 3A, again, Piedmont down there in Region 5, but in Region 4, some local schools here: Beulah, Childersburg, Dayville, Goshen, Montgomery Catholic, Pike County, Reeltown, and Trinity. Reeltown and Dayville in the same region because of the same classification for the first time, I think, ever. And I think their game, which has always been the first Thursday of the high school football season, now moved to in October. So that game will now be played in October. So that annual inter-county clash between Reeltown and Dayville, Scott, will be moved to October. That'll be different.
Yeah, that's
kind of like Auburn and Georgia
moving
up to September, and LSU and Auburn playing in in November. So it's a difference there. Both of those fan bases, that'll be something different for them.
Definitely. This is that's going to be a pretty competitive in Region 4, though. That's a pretty good region there. Reeltown coming off of their state championship run or semifinal run, or runner-up run.
Yeah,
that's a pretty nice region.
Yeah, it is a nice region. And finally, in 2A, in Region 4, B.B. Comer, Fayetteville, Horseshoe Bend, Lafayette, Lynette, Ranburne, Randolph County, and Vincent. Man,
nobody else got a harder draw in the state than Horseshoe Bend.
That is tough, man. Lafayette, Lynette have battled out for state championships. Lynette's won another one. Ranburne's been tough. Randolph County wins 12 to 13 games a season. B.B. Comer got better this year. It's tough. I mean, there's very top heavy in that region, some very good teams there, Scott.
Yeah, that's I was talking to Coach Phillips, Jeremy Phillips, the coach of the Horseshoe Bend Generals, and prior to the reclassification, he said, I think they're probably both going to be in there, that man Lynette and Lafayette. And when they both got in there, he said, well, we just got to get back to work. But that is a tough draw, a lot of competitiveness there.
Yeah, and then 1A to finish this off here, just a region that's close to here, Region 5, Donahoe, Raglan, Talladega County Central, Victory Christian, Wadley, Winterboro, and Woodland is a region there in 1A that we cover and that we have teams in. So that's going to wrap it up for reclassification talk. If you got a comment or question, please feel free to comment or call us. We'd love to talk to you about it. We're going to shift out and start talking about some recruiting, some college football. Bowl season underway. Did you know it started yesterday?
It did start yesterday. I didn't get my pick for that game yesterday, so I'm already behind.
There's a lot of people that wouldn't have mattered. That's not going to determine a lot of bowl pots for sure. But up against our next break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neusen. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
Freshman.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here. We'll shift over and talk a little bit about Alabama and Auburn, the signing day this past week. So definitely a big topic for us here on the Saturday show. We want to go back. Alabama and Auburn both had 22 players signed. So, I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, majority of their work is done. And February will be the late signing period now, which used to be the only signing period. Several targets left out there for Alabama and Auburn to sign, but you can be selective now. You only got 2 or 3 spots available. You got majority of the big dogs that you were going after signed on the dotted line, so you can kind of breathe a little bit easier knowing that the majority of your class, 3/4 to a lot more than that of your class for 2020 is already in the books. You got some that'll be early enrollees coming in here this month, so that'll be better. I know Auburn had Kobe Hudson. He signed and then went out there and started practicing for the bowl game. So that's where college football is different now, Scott.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be with, you have to come in with a freshman class and you have to do that in June and you do 2 weeks of, workouts for the freshmen before the rest of the team shows up. Man, these guys show up now like Bo Nix, and they've been there 6-7 months before the season starts, so they're not really in the truest form of a freshman. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah, and I was actually a cousin of mine. He signed go to South Carolina on Wednesday, and I was talking to him. And he said he was so fortunate and had the opportunity to graduate early. So he's in that same position where he can get right to work. And so I think that changes. You're not really a freshman. I mean, you don't have the playing experience, but at least getting acclimated to the college experience and being part of the team, I think you get a little more. That adaptation period is a little sooner for you than if you were coming in June, like you said.
Imagine being there, now, as compared to walking in, having to have done the things during that 6 or 7 month period on your own. Now you're in their weight program. Now you're in their training program for that long. So it's not like you're a freshman, really. Alabama, again, with the number 2 class in the country. I mean, it's just every year.
I don't even look at theirs anymore until the end. I just look at the name. Yeah,
it's just 1 or 2, but number 1 in the conference. Again, a solid class. That's just what Nick Saban has done at Alabama. Their biggest recruit, maybe Bryce Young out of Mater D in California, number 1 quarterback in the country, 5-star, small guy, 5'11", 180 pounds, but obviously it doesn't matter. He's the number 1 dual threat quarterback in the nation, and Alabama's able to go out and land him. I think he was considering USC and some teams out there, but Alabama, with their national footprint, able to go out and go basically select who they want to come.
Yeah, and that's been their trend. I mean, he's going to lock down his in-state players or get his fair share of that. But as you said, with that national footprint, the market share for the recruiting side for Alabama has been tremendous.
Well, this just tells you the national footprint here. Chris Braswell from Baltimore, Maryland, weak side defensive end, number 1 defensive end, weak side in the country. He's a 5-star. So you go from California to Maryland, now down to Texas. Drew Sanders, just listed as an athlete, 6'5", 232-pound athlete, number 2 athlete listing in the country. So you're all over the map there. And then you come down to Moy Kennedy from Theodore. Alabama was a big get there for an in-state player for Alabama. But then Jace McClellan's from Texas as well, a 4-star running back. So if you look at it, out of the first 4, or out of the first 5 guys for Alabama, 4 of them from not in the state. and most of them from way off. So the national footprint for Alabama, the reason they recruit at the level they recruit, and they have that ranking every year, is because they're able to go and pull the best players out of doesn't matter which state it is in the country.
Do you think there are certain positions where maybe certain areas of the country are better, they produce better talent at that position or comparative to other states?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think so. I definitely think there's pockets and there's states out there that replenish yearly, and because it's more of a focus. Alabama per capita, smaller, but puts out some of the best talent in the country. Everybody comes to Alabama to try to recruit their players. Let's go to the phone lines. Welcome in our first caller. Caller, go ahead. You're on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hey, guys. It's Luke. How's it going?
Good, man. I was going to check in with you here in a little bit to see if you could call in to talk about this Alabama class. I'm doing the best I can right now, Luke, covering the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, I wanted to chime in on Bryce Young from Mater Dei High School because you mentioned he was considering USC. Well, he was actually committed to USC for quite some time, and I think USC is where he wanted to go, growing up from that area. And USC you could spend 4 or 5 shows just talking about the troubles USC has right now. And there's actually a pretty funny video about they were at a camp or an all-star camp, and one of Alabama's longtime wide receiver commitments named Trayshawn Holden was at the camp, and Bryce Young said, yeah, we're going to flip that guy to USC, and it turned out to be just the opposite. I think Bryce Young looked around and said, man, it makes no sense to not go to Alabama over USC right now. I mean, USC ended up with the last rated class in the Pac-12, under people like Oregon State, under people
how does that happen, Luke? I mean, how has that program fallen so badly? And we talked about this on Auburn Blitz this week, some of these programs. I know Auburn has voiced some, year in and year out, some frustrations with Gus Malzahn, but Gus Malzahn has recruited probably the best era of football in Auburn history, and there's a lot of schools out there would love to be in Auburn's shoes right now, one namely being USC, and we can go through some of the other powers that have historically been top, like Nebraska and, even Texas, even though Tom Herman's down there and they're recruiting decently, we haven't seen the success. How does a program like USC just 15 years ago seem like what Alabama's doing right now, just every year running roughshod over everybody, now find themselves at the bottom of one of the weakest conferences in the country?
Well, it's a bad perfect storm for USC. I think, first of all, obviously they had Coach Pete Carroll, who was a fabulous recruiter, and he was just running roughshod over the entire conference for a while. And then, I think things started to turn for them when they lost that as a 39-point or 40-point favorite to Jim Harbaugh and Stanford.
That's right.
It seemed like the tide really started turning then. They lost that game at home. It's one of the biggest defeats in Vegas history. And now they've been running through coaches. They had Ed Orgeron for a bit. They had Lane Kiffin for a bit. And now they got Clay Helton. And frankly, I guess Lane Kiffin's a named coach, yes. But at the time, it was just sort of weird to shove him in that position, and he really went against the USC grain in terms of, what a USC man is.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's been ruining. Lane Kiffin's been ruining programs for a long time. Yeah, Lane. Hey, hold on one second, Luke. We got to get to break. I want to keep you on because we're going to continue this discussion. I want you to talk about some of these Alabama players a little bit more in depth. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Expect it or not, the loss of a loved one is difficult. Put your family first by planning ahead. This is Joseph Dean, new owner of Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers. We are a full-service funeral home with an on-site crematory and cemetery. Whether your need is immediate or you would like to plan in advance, our experienced, compassionate staff can assist you in designing an enduring memorial experience, burial, or cremation. Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers on Highway 280 in Camp Hill or online, alabamafuneralhomes.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn on South College. New Kias at 0% APR financing and no payments for 90 days. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn.com.
This is Coach Pat Dye. At Kia of Auburn, you are always number one.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown final segment here in the first hour. We've still got Luke Robinson on the phone with us here talking about Alabama's signing class. And, Luke, you were talking about, we kind of got off track talking about USC. We'll finish that up. You know, USC is just, in some of these programs that you would think never would fall to the depths that they fall into. Not only have they fallen to those depths, they can't find a way out of them. I didn't think I'd ever see in my lifetime a USC program ranking last in recruiting in the Pac-12.
Well, they've not only had pretty mediocre, if not bad, football coaches, they've also had pretty mediocre, if not bad, athletic directors. And I think if you've got that combination, it doesn't matter what program you are, how traditional you are, you can certainly fall off a cliff, and that's what USC has done. The good news for USC is they get the right guy in place, which is not clearly Clay Helton. And then if they get the right guy in place, I think they can climb back up very quickly, and then you'll hear all the USC is back talk. Just like over at Texas, I mean, you heard all the Texas is back maybe a little bit prematurely, and in fact, Tom Herman came out and kind of apologized for a couple of comments, and he was also it seemed like he was apologizing for the signing class in a sense. I mean, I don't think he said that, obviously, because that would be sort of a death nail, but it seemed like he was saying that. So, maybe those two programs, if they get the right people in charge, they can quickly come back. But of the top 12 players in the state of California, either none of them went to schools in California or only one of them did. I heard the stat, and I couldn't remember which one it was, but they lose a bunch. They lose Justin Flo to Oregon. They lose, obviously Bryce Young. They lose DJ Ugalele, I think that's how you say his name, to Clemson. I mean, that's just not good work.
Luke, let's talk about Alabama's signing class. 22 guys signed in this early, well, we call it early signing period, but it's really the signing period now. Still have 4 guys listed as hard commitments. But just your overall view of this class, Obviously, it's a top class. It's number 2 in the country according to 24/7, number 1 in the conference. Again, it just sounds like we're on repeat with Nick Saban saying that every year with recruiting. So there's no surprise there. But what is your overall feel for this class and the needs that were addressed?
I really don't have a great feel for the class yet. I love Bryce Young. I mean, I think he could be as impactful as a recruit as Nick Saban has signed. And I know he's a little bit small. I know he's a little diminutive, but he is an absolute wonder to watch play football. And the only comparison you can throw out there, and I hate doing this because you're putting too much pressure on a kid and probably downgrading the guy you're comparing him to, but he is Kyler Murray. That's exactly what he is. He can flick his wrist and throw it 70 yards, or he can outrun you. He is shifty. He's smart. He's not overly excited. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I love this kid a lot, and Nick Saban basically waxed poetic about him in his press conference. But as far as the class overall, it's the number 2 class in the country. But Jimmy Stein and I both on our podcast, Locked On Bama, said, it feels like not one of the better Nick Saban classes. Now, that being said, it would be one of the top 20 classes in the University of Alabama history. It's just not one of the top 6 classes that Nick Saban signed, in my opinion, right now on paper. If he had signed Eric Gilbert, who surprised the whole world and went to LSU, and given Alabama that dynamic tight end, or if Darnell Washington from Vegas had committed and signed to Alabama, we don't know where he's going yet. It may still be Alabama, but I doubt it. If he had gotten one of those 2 tight ends, I think it probably would be. And you hate to say a tight end is going to push you over that number, but Alabama needs one. And the only one they signed is a kid named Caden Clark, who's been committed forever out of Ohio. Sort of a typical, just a good, solid pickup. He's not dynamic. He doesn't have incredible measurables. Darnell Washington is a freak of nature, and so is Eric Gilbert. I mean, they're both 5-star tight ends. That tells you how freaky they are. So, and Alabama apparently is going to miss on both of them. That hurt. And I also think it would help Alabama's class perception in Alabama fans' eyes if they get a McKinley Jackson, which Alabama's right in the thick of it. If they get him, I think people's opinion of this class will change because Alabama fans know it's all about defensive linemen.
Yeah, I think there's some good points there. You look at some of the guys that you talked about there. Also, the story that surrounded Javion Cohen flipping from Auburn to Alabama. He's down the list as far as the rankings for Alabama's signing class. He's the last 4-star on the list. Which, I mean, if you're a 4-star, you're still a good player. Just your thoughts on him as a player. Is he a guy that Alabama really expects a lot out of early, or is he going to be a guy that's going to be a couple years before you see him on the field?
It's hard to tell with offensive linemen, but I also think if they do one more rankings, I think Javion Cohen will go up the list. I mean, he made first-team All-USA Today high school football team, and I think first-team Sports Illustrated. So, I mean, both of those publications consider him one of the top 5 offensive linemen in the country, and he does have incredible feet. I followed all the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star notes. I listened to John Garcia a lot, who's now more of a national guy with Sports Illustrated, and they really rave about him and his quick feet. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's got really, really good feet. I think that may help him play some early. I like him a lot. I liked him when he was committed to Auburn, and I was glad Alabama was able to get him to switch over. And another guy that I really like in this class that's not very well heralded is Kyle Edwards, who's 3-star/4-star running back out of Louisiana. And I think Alabama took him at a time when they were like, okay, we need 2 running backs. We already have Roydale Williams from Hueytown, who's fantastic, and we need one more guy. And this Kyle Edwards, he backed up a kid who went to LSU last year at the same high school, and he put up some really nice numbers. He's not necessarily it's not just he's the back. There's a couple of guys there that all share the carries, and he went through the entire year without a fumble. Tough runner. And then Alabama late was able to flip Jace McClellan from Oklahoma, who a lot of people consider to be, if not the best back in the country, in the top 3. And so he's a big pickup. But I think if Alabama could do it all over, they'd be like, we still only want 2 backs and maybe one more defensive lineman. But as the numbers played out and as it was determined that Jace McClellan really is interested in Alabama, you couldn't turn him away. So that's how they ended up with 3 running backs in this class. And I like all 3 of them, but I don't think any of the 3 is, a Trent Richardson necessarily.
Well, we got 3 solid backs, and it's always good to have some depth, and we've seen that on both Alabama and Auburn side in certain positions. Can't have enough depth sometimes. But up against the top of the hour break, Luke, we appreciate you calling in, man. And if we don't talk to you before then, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas to everybody listening. We appreciate all of you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate you, buddy.
See you.
That's going to wrap it up here for the first hour. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neuson. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for price, and backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs, or online at agfmachinery.com.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Starting hour number 2 here, I want to thank Luke for calling in and talking about Alabama's signing class, again, number 2 in the country. And so, look, when you continue to get players at the pace they get them and stockpile players, even though you have injuries and injuries hurt you, and I think injuries hurt Alabama this year, especially in certain positions. But when you look, you increase your odds, and their level of quality is so much better than most everybody else's. That's why they win year in and year out. But we'll flip over now, talk a little bit about Auburn. Auburn with a number 7 ranked class according to 24/7, number 5 according to ESPN. So one of Gus Malzahn's better classes. I want to read this to you. Talk about what Gus Malzahn has been able to do. I don't know if you saw that tweet I put out the other day, but Randy and I were talking about it. He's like, where does this class This class ended up finishing a little bit better than a lot of people thought. They thought this was going to be a 10 to 12 class. This class is a 7 to 5 class with a chance to maybe go up a little higher with a couple guys that are out on the table for Auburn. McKinley Jackson being one that I think Alabama and Luke and they feel good about as far as being in the mix. Well, Auburn does too. Auburn feels good with Rodney Garner on the trail going after McKinley Jackson. It's Ole Miss, LSU, Alabama. He's Mississippi State. He's got nobody really knows with this guy. He ain't really narrowed anything down. But if you want to talk about a guy, we give Gus Malzahn grief on this show just like a lot of people do on their shows. But we'll give him credit where credit's due. And since he's been at Auburn, well, really this decade, Auburn's had phenomenal recruiting. And when you look at it from a standpoint of how do you have a 2012 season mixed in there when you recruit at this level, there's no excuse. It has to be discontent, things going on off the field and outside of the program that bring you down, and come to find out that's what was going on in 2012. But if you want to go back to the national championship year in recruiting, 2010, Auburn finished 6th. 11, Auburn finished 5th. That's the highest they've finished in that decade. But a 5th-ranked class that next year after the national championship season, 2012, 11th, 13, you finished 10th, and then here's 14 through 20. 6th, 8th, 9th, 12th, and 11th the last 2 years, and now back to 7th. Gus Malzahn has recruited at a level, and only one time from 2000 to 2010 did we finish in the top 10, and that was in 2001. We had a 7th-ranked class. Everything else, Scott, we were down in the 20s and 30s with Coach Tuberville in recruiting. So you're looking at, so the credit for Tuberville developing players goes to him, because that's what you hear with Coach Tuberville. He'd take a 3-star, make him a 5-star or whatever. Well, he did. He'd take guys and move them to positions, and he could evaluate talent and see where they would better fit, and he would take a lesser-than player and make them an outstanding player. Well, Gus Malzahn is recruiting with the best in the country. It's not to Alabama's level, obviously. Nobody's been to that level, but they've been in the top 10 consistently. I think your average ranking here for Auburn would be about 8th in recruiting. So, you're top 8 nationally recruiting class every single year.
I'll say this, and I think because I've been more of a I'm not going to say Gus apologist, but I've been more empathetic toward his situation and what's been happening with Auburn. But when you hear those numbers, then I do kind of get back into your line of thinking. It's like, all right, the talent is there.
The talent's there, man.
So, but the other thing on that is, so let's say we go with the highest ranking or the lowest ranking, which was 7.
Yep.
That probably puts us at what, 5 in the SEC, or like at least 4th in the SEC
you're right.
West?
No, you're right. Auburn's currently ranked 5th in the conference.
So,
7th nationally.
That's the insane portion of it. And of those 5, 4 of them are in your division. So, that's.
Well, Texas A&M and Alabama and LSU for sure.
Yeah.
Are ahead of you.
So,
and then you got Georgia up there. So that's why you're 5th.
Yeah,
and Georgia and Auburn are neck and neck. And I know last year they had a class that just blew classes away with, I think, 5 or 6 5-stars. But Auburn and Georgia right there neck and neck again. Now you got Florida on Auburn's tail, which Dan Mullen, I knew that was coming. But you got, again, like you said, number 7 in the country, but 5th in your conference, and 3 divisional teams ahead of you. So it is tough sledding. But you're right there. You're putting yourself there, and that's all you can ask for. But obviously the number one thing that I looked at in this class is Auburn's got a Georgia-heavy class. If you look at Alabama's class, it's Maryland, it's Texas, it's California, it's Michigan, it's different places. They go all over the place, which obviously, again, goes back to if I can go get the best player out of Oklahoma, or I can go get the best player out of California, I can go in there with my national footprint, which I've earned by winning, I can vault myself up the ranking. Auburn is more of a regional recruiter. We've always known that. Auburn has to do well in Georgia to have a good recruiting class. Well, they did well in Georgia this year. 9 of their 22 signees came from the state of Georgia, Scott. And you can go back through time in history. And when Auburn recruits well in Georgia, they have good years to come. And it's just a progression. And Auburn's got to be able to go in to Georgia and get the better players or some of the better players. And They've gotten Montravius Adams out of there. They've gotten Derek Browns out of there. They've gotten those type of players, and once again, they go out and get another one. They get the #1 running back in the country, Tank Bigsby from Callaway, Georgia.
Can't wait.
I mean,
I cannot wait. And so you mentioned that about Georgia, and you know there's, as you said, Alabama has solidified itself as the premier program in college football, one of the top premier programs in college football. But regionally, Auburn still has a lot to say with what happens with where recruits going. And so, as you said, with Georgia, I think per capita, I mean not per capita, but just for the players that they produce, I'll take Georgia over any state.
The quality of that. Yeah. I mean, Georgia's still recruiting in the top 3 and 4 and 5 in the country, and we're going in and getting some of their better players out of their state. Does that tell you? And they're still Georgia is. They're not as national as a lot of people think. They have to rely. Probably 15 to 18 of their signees came from in the state. It's just a talent-rich state. And then you got Florida that pulls from there. You got Alabama that pulls from there. You got LSU that comes over and pulls. You got Clemson that pulls from Georgia. Tank Bigsby. Auburn, top 5 recruits in this class are from Georgia. Kobe Hudson, wide receiver from Troup County. Wesley Steiner from Houston County. Warner Robbins, inside linebacker. Zacchaeus Walker, one of the top receivers in this, or one of the top defensive ends, not receiver, defensive ends in this class, number 7 nationally from Georgia. Xavion Capers is the receiver I was talking about. I got ahead of myself. 6'3", 195 pounds from Alpharetta, Georgia. The top 5 guys in the class for Auburn are from the state of Georgia. And Auburn's got a chance to go out and get Broderick Jones in February, who's the #1 offensive lineman in the state of Georgia. We heard Jason talk about it yesterday. Georgia signed 4 true tackles in this class. The best tackle in the state still ain't made his decision. That's good for Auburn. Does he want to go in there now and be the 5th tackle in this class? Or does he want to come over here where he knows Auburn's going to have some guys come in immediately and have playing time? He's one of the top offensive tackles in the country. That's a 5-star guy. If Auburn's able to go in and land him, in February, the class will go up even higher.
Most definitely. And so you're looking at it, and when I was saying about there's no knock on being 7, obviously. It's just putting things in perspective. I mean, 7 is a heck of a class, but it's just putting in perspective how competitive the SEC is.
The SEC West is ridiculous.
I mean,
there is no – it's tougher than most conferences, and it's just one division in this conference.
That's true.
Put that in perspective.
That's true.
Up against our next break here. In the second hour, stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
Hey, slow down, buddy. This ain't Talladega, and that race car driver's number on your back window, you ain't him. Truth is, just 10 miles over the speed limit, and your chances of killing someone are 4 times higher. So forget the number on your window and memorize the one on that orange prison jumpsuit. Stop speeding before speeding stops you.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Alex City Marine's located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, and the Yerkes invite you by to see what they have available today. The 2020 Manitous and Landaus are in, and boy, are they gorgeous. Also, some great deals on demos. Take advantage of that while they last. Alex City Marine also is doing shrink wrapping, storage. Get in line now. In fact, call this number, 256-215-FISH. Alex City Marine, Alex City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Finishing up talking about Auburn's recruiting class there. Talked about Alabama's there at the tail end of the first hour with Luke, finishing number 2. Auburn number 7, according to 24/7. Number 2, Alabama number 2 with ESPN and 24/7. Auburn 5 with ESPN, 7 24/7. Still some players out there yet to sign for Auburn. Jay Hardy being a big commitment out of Tennessee, out of Chattanooga. As a 4-star, high 4-star defensive tackle. As Luke just said, you know, a lot of classes are determined by defensive linemen. Auburn's got some good defensive linemen in this class. Jay Hardy will be another big addition if Auburn can hold on to him. There's a lot of people that feel like Tennessee has really crept in there and made a push for him. He made it clear that he wasn't going to sign until February from day one. So Auburn's still going to have a little bit of work to do with that guy. Jonathan Buskey's another offensive tackle, a big kid, 6'7", 320-pound junior college guy. But Jason Caldwell, me and Andy all feel like he'll never see Auburn because of maybe some grade issues, maybe some other things. That doesn't mean that he can't fight through it and make it, but right now it doesn't look like a good track to Auburn for him. An area of concern for Auburn, only one quarterback in this class. You know, Bo Nix, obviously you feel good about him in the next couple of years, and you look at Cord Sandberg really being your backup now that Joey Gatewood has moved on and signed with Kentucky. But Shalil Garnett, he's a 3-star guy out of Lakeland, Florida. He's 6'1", 205. He's got decent size. And look, I hate to just dwell on numbers, but he's the number 741 player in the country. Nationally dual threat quarterback number 22. So if you look at it from a position standpoint, I mean, you're a top 25 guy in your position. But, you look, you don't know. Kid could come in and be a superstar in college, get bigger, stronger, faster, really fit into a system and really become a good quarterback. I mean, Nick Marshall was a defensive back, and he comes in and we saw what he was able to do. So I don't want to be critical of the kid, but he is the lowest ranked recruit Auburn signed, and he's the only quarterback Auburn signed in this class. So even Jason said a little concerning with only one quarterback in this class.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen Sandberg would be a suitable replacement, but you start looking at it down the line, you do want that depth at the position.
Absolutely. Auburn knew they had to go out and get offensive linemen. Got a bunch in this class. Killian Zierer from the College of the Canyons and junior college. Auburn got the number 1 and the number 2 offensive linemen in junior college. They knew they had to go out and get some guys that could come in and play immediately. Losing 4 of the 5 on the front line. Nick Brahms, the only guy returning for Auburn on the offensive line at center. Had to have some guys come in, able to go out and get Brendan Coffey from California, number 3 offensive lineman there, 6'6", 275 pounds. Tank Bigsby's teammate, Tate Johnson from Callaway, Georgia, 6'4", 310 pound offensive guard. So there's 3 of the linemen there. And then, of course, probably the most vocal lineman in this class and a guy that's probably going to be a leader of this team. You can already see it. It's in his personality. You see it in the Twitter account. He's got people following him now nationally because of what he was predicting and telling Auburn fans, hold on, we got another one coming. And that's Avery Jernigan, 6'3", 278 pounds, out of Georgia again, offensive lineman. So Auburn able to go out and really make up the gap a little bit with some JUCO guys, Scott, on the offensive line category, but you can't do what they did last year and just have a year where you miss. And you've got targets. Everybody's obviously got the targets that they want, but when they don't come through, you can't just say, well, I just struck out. You got to have some backup plans for depth, because it puts you in a situation this year where you lose 4 guys, possibly 5. If Caleb Kim would have been your starter, you would have lost the entire offensive line. Now you have to come back and replace, and that's hard to do. When you have to replace an entire unit like that, it hurts with consistency. The positive for Auburn is Nick Brahms got better. He is the center. You can plug the guys in around him, and that gives at least Bo Nix a little bit of continuity that he was able to play with Nick Brahms this year.
What are your thoughts? I mean, I know it has to be you need a good mix of JUCO and then, incoming freshmen, but from an offensive, on the line itself, what are your thoughts on heavy recruiting from a JUCO standpoint and bringing that in?
I don't think you primarily focus on JUCO players. I think when you go out and get junior college players, it has to be a big-time player, a guy that everybody wants, or it has to be a position of need that you got to come in and you got to fill some immediate needs right now. You don't have time to bring in a top guy and develop him and let him. You don't have the time. Time's not on your side. So you got to go out and get some of these guys, top 2 linemen in the country.
Which, I mean, I think that's great. That's why I think that's great. Right. But for the
I think that's
long term.
But I think that there's some schools that go out and try to do that every year. They try to build their class around JUCO guys, and it don't work. And I've seen – you've seen Mississippi State in the past. You've seen some of the other schools that try to make the gap up with Alabama and LSU and Auburn and some of those with JUCO players, and you can't build your entire class. You can't get 10 to 15 JUCO guys and expect to have, any type of solid base that you're going to build, because you're constantly flipping people over. It's a turnover thing. So, but that's just my opinion. Others may disagree with me on that. But Auburn continues to do well with Travis Williams, linebackers. Desmond Tisdale, one of the top linebackers there in the nation, coming from Georgia, number 11 inside linebacker in the country, 6 foot, 215 pounds. And all of these linebackers are about the same. If you look at what Auburn's got right now, and you look at the Desmond Tisdale here, and you go up and you look at Wesley Steiner, 6 foot, 220. They're all 6 foot, 210, 215, 220-pound guys that can run laterally, cover, can go out in the flat, cover backside of the backfield, line up against a slot receiver, but also big thumpers. Can get in there and mix it up and knock the paint off your helmet, KJ Britt style, Deshaun Davis style. Not only does he go out and get top talent, he develops them into better talent. And that's what you look at with coaches, Scott.
Yeah, this latest core of the last, we'll say, 2 seasons worth of recruiting classes for linebackers have been very similar to what you go back to the Topeville days. Like when Travis Williams was there, that's the kind of player you had really, was a guy who you had. I mean, you did have your Donterius Thomases and those guys, but I think the speed linebackers are what he likes. And so for this type of defense with Kevin Steele,
change that philosophy too. They want speed linebackers that can run side to side, because you gotta be able to get out in space and cover these guys now. They're sitting 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore, where you got guys filling gaps and plugging holes. You got to have guys that can run, and if you don't, that's a disadvantage for you defensively. So I think Travis Williams doing a really good job. He kind of missed last year on some guys, N'Kobe Dean and all. I think he made sure that wasn't going to happen this year. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Scotty Fortenberry is Dadeville and the Lake Martin area's full-service Alpha agent. His office on Broadneck Street offers comprehensive life, home, auto, and boat insurance at Alpha's competitive rates. Scotty and Alpha Insurance are Alabama's #1 life insurance company for a reason. You'll always get the personal attention you and your family need. Scotty also has your commercial needs covered, so whether it's just a quote or full insurance evaluation, call Alpha agent Scotty Fortenberry at 256-825-9211.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
Guys, it's back! Inline skating.
Rock and roll hair?
Calling this thing a pound sign instead of a hashtag? No, the sensation is back at Zaxby's.
The Zensation Salad is back, and introducing the new Zensation Filet Sandwich Meal with hand-breaded chicken, Asian slaw, wonton strips, and citrus vinaigrette, both served with an egg roll. The Zensation Salad and Filet Sandwich Meal, only at Zaxby's.
The door is open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Swats on Dable Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Swats on Dable Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here. 30 more minutes left in today's show. Thanks for all of you out there listening and watching us every Saturday, and we appreciate all your comments that come through. I know a lot of you out there today got Christmas shopping on the brain, or if you hadn't started yet, you better. It needs to be important to you. I'm sure it's important to somebody in your family. But obviously with Christmas time and football season really kind of going down, and bowl season goes up, and that's really the football that's left for us to watch. That and NFL playoffs that are on the horizon here. A couple more regular season games for NFL, but bowl season actually started yesterday. The makers wanted Bahamas Bowl. If you go 7-5, it's a pretty doggone good reward to be able to go to Atlantis. I mean, I can think of worse places to go. Shreveport.
No, I mean,
there's some dumps that you can go hang out in, and for Buffalo, if you're for Buffalo fans, you talk about a gift, man. Don't give me anything but 2 tickets on a plane in a room in Atlanta, so I can go watch the Bahamas Bowl. They played Charlotte. Charlotte's first ever bowl game. Both teams went 7-5, and Buffalo ran away with it. They ended up winning the game, I think 31-7. But Buffalo, again, been a team in the past that has been, with Turner Gill. Charles Barkley led a campaign to get Turner Gill to Auburn.
Man,
but
I was obnoxious about that too. I can remember.
There were people wearing buttons. I remember at an Auburn game. Turner Gill, blah blah. Vote for Turner or something like that.
Gosh, what a disaster.
Yeah, it was.
Where would Auburn be now?
Well, I think this time last year or the year before, we looked up where Turner Gill was, and he was at Liberty, I think. Now you got Hugh Freeze at Liberty. Does that tell you? So where is Turner? Where in the world is Waldo? Where is Turner Gill now in the landscape of college football? The Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Frisco Bowl. It was a good game last night. Kent State wins the game, one of Auburn's opponents this year. They improved to 7-6. They beat Utah State. Utah State fell to 7-6. But there's your first two bowl games checked off. Here today, Saturday, got a slate of bowl games. One here in the state of Alabama that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But the New Mexico Bowl, tell me if you're interested in any of these games. I just basically tell Andy when he calls them out to me. He goes, all right, the New Mexico Bowl, Central Michigan or San Diego State. I go, nobody cares. But I'll see about you. Central Michigan versus San Diego State. Anybody care?
Some wins the game. It's one of those midweek teams right there, Central Michigan.
On a Saturday, so it don't equal out well,
yeah.
does it? Do you even know who's favored in that? Does it matter?
Who are they playing? See, I don't even
you
remember.
forgot who's playing.
Yeah.
San Diego State and Central Michigan. San Diego State favored by 3.5. Again, who cares? FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl. What are the names? I mean, Orlando's got about 5 bowls now. This is one of them down there. But as we just talked about, your guy, Hugh Freeze, laying in the bed in the dental chair up in the press box, will take on Georgia Southern. So Liberty versus Georgia Southern, both 7-5. Georgia Southern a 4-point favorite.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. It's hard to get my attention until
cares.
Late December.
All right, what is this? The Cherry Bundy Boca Raton Bowl. It's in Boca Raton. I don't know if Lane Kiffin will fly back down there to hang out one more time, but his Florida Atlantic Owls going for their 11th win against a good SMU team, 10-2. This is actually a good matchup.
Yeah.
This is a 10-2 team versus a 10-3 team at 2:30 today on ABC. SMU's a 3-point favorite. It's a good football game.
Yeah, 2 10-win teams. I mean, or one going for a 10th win. So
no, both are 10 wins.
Both 10 wins. Okay, yeah.
I mean, both going for 11 wins. So, that's a good one. Here in Montgomery, Alabama, the past 5 Camellia Bowls have come down to the last drive. How about that? Well, we get that again today. Florida International 6-6 versus Arkansas State 7-5 down in Crampton Bowl. If you'd have told me 15, 18 years ago they'd have held a bowl game at Crampton Bowl, I'd have said, I don't know who lost who came up on the short end of the stick to get drawn out for that. But that is one of the premier venues now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Montgomery had a vision. They said, we got a perfect, area. The stadium's out of date, but we can go in there and make that, we can correct that. And they've gone in and made that a beautiful facility. The press box, one of the nicest ones that I've been in, college or high school.
Our little stretch there, though, from
the spiral staircase,
8 to 9, maybe somewhere in there.
No,
that was tough.
It was a dump.
Yeah,
I mean, just
tough.
be honest
Yeah,
about
it was tough.
I mean, it's okay now because it's a good venue, but it was a dump, and they knew it, so they fixed it. Arkansas State's a 2.5-point favorite in that game. They're expecting another good game there. That's good. The Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl. Boys, this is a good, interesting matchup. Number 19, Boise State at 12-1 versus Washington, 7-5. It's Peterson's last game as coach.
Oh, and it's Boise State.
And it's his former team.
What was I know we're running
Chris
down, but what was the reasoning behind him leaving Washington?
He's just done.
I got you.
He just don't want to coach no more. I guess very similar to Bob Stoops.
Yeah.
3.5-point favorite for Washington. Going to be a good game. That's at 6:30 tonight on ABC. That'll be a good game. And the last game here on this Saturday before Christmas, R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Obviously in New Orleans, Louisiana, if you couldn't figure that out by the title of the bowl. Appalachian State versus UAB. So UAB 9-4 on the season. Bill Clark with another good season. They have a tall task ahead of them. They're 17-point underdogs to Appalachian State, who are 12-1, number 20. That Appalachian State, and Drinkwitz is not there. He's obviously at Missouri now. So how will that affect them as far as the way they play? I don't know, but that game's at 8 o'clock on ESPN tonight. It's going to be a good football game, I think. UAB
could get 10
just think about
wins,
where
man.
UAB's gone the last 2 years since they had basically a self-inflicted death penalty.
Wow. I mean,
what that university did to themselves.
Nobody deserves more credit for the performance of their team or their program currently than Bill Clark. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do there. And, I mean, it seems like he's happy and he'll stay there. I mean, that's a good fit for him. But I would like to see how he would do with a larger program. But
look, let's just be honest. This is not a cut on UAB. But to take UAB in the situation they've been in and to win the way he's won, you don't think there's programs out there that aren't recognizing that, saying, look, if we can get him to come here and we've got more money and we've got, more facilities because we've been historically longer, you don't think they're not going to call eventually? I mean, that can't deny what he's doing as a coach. I mean, he's just a solid coach. But that's your bowl lineup for today. Some good games, actually. You don't usually get that this time of year, but it's pretty good football games on today if you really want to sit around and try to watch some of these bowl games. We're going to take a break. We come back, we'll shift over and talk a little bit about basketball. Got to talk a little basketball. Auburn, number 12 in the country. Another big win. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Comfort is our number one concern. Advanced heat and air.
With the hot summer season just around the corner, it's time to decide if your current air conditioning system will keep you cool this year. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate on a brand new energy-efficient Trane heat pump system for your home or business. Your comfort is our number one concern. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-234-5052.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Grab a 5-quart jug of Napa conventional motor oil for only $12.99 for a limited time at Napa Auto Parts. We're ready for back to school, even if you aren't ready. Purchase any Napa automotive battery and receive $25 back by mail at Napa Auto Parts.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
The Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales in Opelika has the largest selection of prestige cars, trucks, and SUVs in Central and East Alabama, all with financing available, little to no money down, and extended warranties. Get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes, online or from your mobile device at GillsPrestigeOnline.com. It's the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Everyone, welcome to the Saturday Sports Countdown. A couple more segments in today's show. We're going to talk a little bit about basketball, and then we'll close out some of these weird gifts. I mean, there's some stuff that, I mean, where did they come up with it?
Somebody wants it, I guess.
I don't even. How do you even want that? I didn't even know that you even come up with that. But anyway, Auburn improves to 10-0, continues to find ways to win. They defeat NC State 79-73. Kind of avenged the performance they had last year at NC State. Probably the worst loss Auburn had all year, if you want to be honest. Save the Kentucky game in Kentucky. I thought the season was over last year when we went to Kentucky and just officially got the doors blown off. I said, well, it's been fun. We'll probably end up maybe squeaking into the NCAA tournament if we're, but obviously that was the turning point for where Auburn really turned the season around. They decided they wanted to not have that happen again, and they were able to avenge that Kentucky loss with one in the Elite Eight. So they got the better of the Wildcats there. But just your early thoughts on this Auburn team continuing. Bruce Pearl's 22-1 his last 23 games. What? Wow. Are we in some type of alternate?
It can happen. We sat here for 10 years and say, what has to happen for Auburn to be consistent in basketball? Just let's get to the tournament. So now, as Auburn fans, I don't want to get too far because we're still excited for the opportunity to go into the tournament. But now if you're not a Sweet 16 team with them,
what did I say at the beginning of the show about an hour and 40 minutes ago? It's coach. At the high school level, the Pee Wee level, pro level, college, doesn't matter. A good coach can come into a terrible program, which Auburn was basketball-wise, and make them a powerhouse, make them a perennial power, make them a contender. They've been to the Final Four. They've won 22 out of their last 23 games. Auburn went 2 or 3 seasons and didn't win 22 or 23 games. That tells you what you can do with the buy-in of a university that says, look, we're going to pay top money. We're going to go out there and see who we can get. We're going to build a facility that equals that players will want to play in, that fans want to come watch games. We're going to make the ticket tough when they get good, and that's what you got. You got Lehigh and Lipscomb, and the tickets online right now are going – standing room only, going for about $100. I mean, Scott, that you never thought you'd see this day in Auburn basketball. And
you and I went, you, I, and a friend of ours, Will Huey, right. We went to the final game in the Coliseum. Mississippi State. From that point to where we are now is 2 different worlds. It's 2 different worlds.
It's so far removed from that game. I remember it like it was yesterday, but Mississippi State was expected to blow us out that night. We ended up winning somehow. We ended up pulling the little seat thing off the back of the, and I don't know where those are, by the way.
I don't either.
But we said, look, we thought the place was going to be torn down, like literally after we walked out the door. But those seats are still there. Some of them don't have a little number on the back of them because we decided we were going to take that off as a memento. But you look at what you just said, and you're right. I mean, we are so far away from that particular night where Auburn played their last game in the Coliseum to where we are now. I never foresaw this. I didn't think in our lifetime we'd ever see. I thought we could have a year like we had in '99 here and there where you get a JUCO guy or two and things kind of come together, and maybe Cliff paid a couple guys to come in, and then you could have a good team, but not to this level, not to where you've hung a Final Four banner in the rafters.
This current, like as you asked me about the current team, the first 5, 6, 7 games, which they're still learning. Each player's learning their role, but I think now you're starting to see some guys say, this is what my contribution is going to be to this team. And as we develop more, especially getting into SEC play, I would expect for somebody like an Austin Wiley, he's played much better in comparison to the last couple of seasons.
How much better has he got?
I mean, that changes it. So not that you have to run the offense through him, but now that's an option. You can do that now. Javon's definitely upped his game. You already know what's happening with Samir, but with people like Purefoy really giving you a quiet 13, 15 points a game, you look up, he plays great defensively, and then obviously what you have in the freshman sensation, Okoro. So, I mean, I think that this Auburn team truthfully could be pound for pound better than last year's team. I think you had your top 3 players were better than what this top 3 player team is, but overall this is a team that can play depth-wise.
Probably deeper team.
Yeah.
So because you look down and Samir Dowdy with 24 points, McCormick 14, they're going to be the leaders on this team. You got to have your guards play well. Obviously, Jared Harper and Bryce Brown, everything ran through them. And Samir Dowdy knows that it's his team. Javon McCormick knows he's got to be the field general. He's got to be the quarterback of the team. And then you got Wiley Okoro, Purifoy, and then whoever else that can contribute. But it's like Randy said the other day, there's about 5 guys to 6 guys on this team could put 20 points in for you any given night. That's beautiful. You don't have to rely. I said this the other day. I said Auburn basketball used to be we had one decent player, and if that decent player just didn't have a stellar night every night, you didn't have a chance to win. And if he had an off night, you got blown out. So if he had a good night, you were in the game. Didn't mean you're going to win it, but you were in the game. If he had an off night, you got beat by 20, and that's the difference. And I remember, just a few years ago when you went on the road, you just chalked that up as an L. Yeah. Auburn basketball on the road, you weren't winning. I mean, you might. Do you remember the Florida game with Tony Barbee? They tried to give us that game. We couldn't inbound the ball. All we had to do with it is inbound the basketball, and we win the game. And we 2 or 3 times in a row couldn't get the ball in. Had a 5-second violation, threw the thing away, got it stolen, and that's where Auburn basketball was.
Yeah, I think back to.
I know what you're
about. But I'm just like I'm thinking about the players. So the Rasheem Barretts, the Kavatni Barbers, the Simeon Bowers. I mean, even like Frankie Sullivan. Those were at the time you're thinking like, man, we're so fortunate to have.
Daggone player, don't we?
Yeah, and now. They couldn't sniff the floor. They couldn't sniff the floor. I'm with you. It really just goes back. The culture that Bruce Pearl has instilled in the program has also been infectious in terms of spreading out through the rest of the university. Yeah. I think everybody right now, if you're a fan of Auburn, you're a fan of Auburn athletics right now because everybody. I mean, baseball is getting ready to start their preseason top 10. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but I'm ready for SEC play for basketball to really see because right now I think Auburn's the best team in the conference.
Well, they are right now. I mean, they are comparable to record. They are to RPI as far as the power rankings are concerned. Kentucky's lost a couple games already. Florida hadn't turned out to be.
They finally hit them. At some point, that one and done, if you don't, not every class is equal.
Yeah, but sometimes you're going to miss them. You just don't have that.
True.
You just don't have that chemistry.
True.
They're still top-ranked players, but some just don't ever come together like other classes. So it's a hit and miss, like you said. Up against the final break, we come back to the weirdest gifts for 2019. You don't want to miss this.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Hey, it's Steve from the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, and after 10 years of serving the good people of East Alabama and West Georgia, we're still doing business the same way, offering the best products at the best prices with the area's best warranties and installing them with the area's best technicians. With great customer service, a knowledgeable sales staff, and our commitment to customer satisfaction, along with the best selection of the latest technology in the industry, there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Shop with confidence. Shop at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neuson. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, final segment of the show, our shortest segment. So, Merry Christmas time. Why not talk about some weird gifts out there? Huh?
Well, you were showing me some pretty.
I don't understand. First of all, a wine bottle stopper that looks like a mouse, and it's got a cat sitting here. It's like a mouse that's stuck down in the wine bottle. So, why? I guess to freak people out, think there's a rat trying to get down in your wine, something like that.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like the person who thought to make the gifts.
Here's one for you: the talking Trump bottle opener. That would be. If I'd have known about this, I would have gotten that.
That'd have been a good dirty Santa.
That would have been a great dirty Santa. Why don't we do a dirty Santa with Sports Blitz?
Yeah,
we ain't done one ever. It'd be fun and be interesting.
Do some,
William Shakespeare tissue box. Any desire to have to pull a tissue out of William Shakespeare's nose?
No, I'm good there.
The Breaking Bad incense burner.
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
No,
I wasn't.
So some camper and it's burning incense out of it. So skipping some of it. For all you Star Wars fans out there, the Death Star tree topper. Instead of putting an angel or a star on top of your tree, you can put the Death Star on top of your tree. Are you a big Star Wars fan?
This is the thing. No. I've only seen one, I think, and I've seen some of like.
So you really don't have a clue on when.
I know it came out yesterday.
But you don't have a clue on what's going on. It's okay. Don't get into it now.
Yeah. It's too long.
Yeah, it's just too much. The crappie plunger. So literally, it's got a guy sitting on a toilet with a crappie fishing pole. Over here, it's a plunger. A little play on words right there, right? Gonna skip the Santa Drops a Deuce Christmas sweater there. An Alice Cooper figurine. Is there a high market for an Alice Cooper figurine out there?
I don't know who Alice Cooper is.
You don't know who Alice Cooper is?
Who's that? Who's Alice?
The rock
like
guy.
Alice,
not Alice in Chains.
That's who
No, it's not It's not Alice in Chains. It's Alice Cooper. He's by himself. I know he's weird. I know he's a different looking dude, but no, he's not an Alice in Chains.
All right, my bad.
If you have a beard, there are ornaments for your beard.
That
Is
just
this guy
like
for
a
real
lot of
right
trouble.
here? Beardaments.
That's
If you showed up at your family's Christmas with some ornaments in your beard,
I'm not getting a plate probably.
What about a giant inflatable? This actually, my son would probably like this if it was actually full of ranch dressing. A giant inflatable bottle of ranch dressing.
I'm a big rancher.
You a big rancher?
I'm a rancher.
Let's see what else we got here. A snowman bong. There's some people I know.
For those people out west?
Yeah, or east or central or for wherever else. A melting clock.
Oh, man.
A melting clock. Why would you want a melting clock?
What would be?
See, there's some of these would be perfect for a sports blitz, past and present people working with us, because a group wireless mouse, I know Justin would love. I mean, it would be a perfect gift. He likes Groot.
What's your like from a sports perspective? If you could, I know you're a big memorabilia person. What would be what's something that you haven't gotten that you've been looking for, or?
Probably top of the list right now would be a Tom Brady jersey, autographed, obviously, but I mean they're expensive. He's a pretty good player, by the way.
He's got a lot of chips.
Yeah, he does. What about Drew Brees? When we got the last minute here, what about Drew Brees breaking the record? I mean, Tom Brady's right there on his heels, so there's going to be a battle.
I was wondering how they would do that.
It's going to be a battle between those two right now.
All I can think about every time I watch Drew Brees, and then every time I'm watching Alabama, the trainer for the Dolphins that didn't clear Drew Brees.
Where's that guy?
It turns out apparently it was Danny Cannell's dad, maybe, or father-in-law, one of the two. But didn't clear. Yeah, exactly. But that changes. I mean, the whole landscape of everything changes at that point. So anyway, but Drew Brees, I think those are the top two. Aaron Rodgers probably could be in that conversation. Or he is in that conversation, but I think those are the top two in my lifetime.
No doubt about it, no doubt about it. Well, we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas out there. We're out of time. We hope all of you have a safe and wonderful holiday season. We'll be back with you next week. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you did. See you next time.